speed because of the entrance, because I mean, you would need 4x4s to arrive to some of the sites, and some of the marvelous.
So has there been some kind of movement towards this?
Yes. Few of the sites has been extremely well renovated. At least 3 of them has been extremely well renovated. There are some work undergoing now into the other site as well. We finally realized the importance, and everybody in his sector actually is working on it. So, and from the other side, that's, I think the ministry has been working very hardly with the other ministry. I mean, for the infrastructure and with the security as well to facilitate the visits. But from the other side, the Egyptian Tourism Authority have been busy also coming up with some promotion material. I mean, I can go and visit wherever. Like me, for instance, on our side as business, we can go and knock on the doors and tell our clients that there is an other interest there. They will tell you where and show
promotion
and fixtures,
marketing,
and we didn't have any. So promotion materials were not also available, and this is what is currently.
So now
happening.
It's been under.
We have a dedicated brochure now, printed and issued by the Tourism Authority. But also we didn't like much of the photos there, so we are renewing this. We're bringing some professionals to come up with good photos. That, you know, very few now really use the printed materials. You need things on the screen, you need things on your laptop to show and
online,
to share, and on Facebook and other social media. Absolutely. So it's coming up. It's coming up.
Okay. So how can we revive tourism in general here in Egypt in the coming year?
Well, this will be a debate. I mean, if you bring 3 Karims of mine, each one will give you a different story, because it's at the end of the day, it's marketing, and you know, marketing is debatable. All roads bring you to Rome, so each one will have his road to go. But in my opinion, if you ask me, on a very personal level, beside any marketing issue, we need to coordinate with other ministries to tap on Egypt image abroad. I don't think that the problem is at
But you have your offices abroad, your bureaus abroad.
Yes. Those offices are actually tackling or addressing the tourism promotion itself, the promotion of the pyramids, the promotion of the museum, and
Can't
so
you
on.
also alter the sort of
we
job
do
description?
have information officers out of the Ministry of Information, and those are the ones that actually should handle the general image of Egypt. And I'm not saying, I'm not throwing the whole ball into their court, but that's why I'm saying that this is the time that we need to coordinate with other ministries. I didn't want to mention the Ministry of Information, but if you tackle the subject, I'll tell you frankly, yes, they will be the most important players in that, because it's not the pyramids, it's Egypt. It's not the museum, it's Egypt.
But what about security and stability in the country?
There is no harm whatsoever.
Level of
there is no
and
harm.
Stability?
Security now has nobody. If we read the newspapers abroad, overseas, there is no harm about security. Well, of course, they mention it, but it used to be mentioned day and night. Now it's mentioned once every quarter, once every 2 months, or if anything happened, and very little is
like
happening.
Every other country.
Yeah, exactly. Very little is happening. But what you really need to address now is to change the perception towards the direct consumer. The level you have several levels when you do your promotion. You have the consumer who's actually traveling, but then you have the retailer who's in the corner that the traveler will pass by and buy the trip. But also you have the wholesaler who's actually communicating with the different countries in order to buy, to do the package and so on. It's exactly like trading in vegetables or in meat, whatever. It goes through the same level.
Industry.
Now, wholesalers and retailers, they do not mind. The minute a traveler will knock on their doors asking them for Egypt, they will be happy to sell it, because as much as they will be happy to sell other things. But if the travelers himself or the visitors of these retailers are not interested, then they will not push them. They will not fight for them to let them buy it. So here you have to change the perception towards the consumer. What we are currently trying to do now, specifically with the long-haul destination, is to tap onto the consumer media and not the trade media. Again, the trade will sell whatever the consumer are interested to buy.
Yes.
So it's now the consumer is, when you ask them about Egypt, they have some bad perception. It used to be safety and security, which is no longer the case. It's no longer. Very few will address the security issue, but it's unfortunately over the last few months, and I would say 10 months, there have been lots of very negative articles addressing Egypt, again, not on the security level or the safety level, but addressing Egypt cleanliness, Egypt hygiene, Egypt story of the sex harassment, so on, which is bringing back stories of 3 and 4 and 5 years and keep saying it and keep repeating them. It is our role to go and come up with
and
other
change
articles.
the image.
Yes, that's why I'm telling you. In my belief, it's the consumer in perception that you need to change. They need to see positive events. They need to see, hypothetically, Formula One. Formula One is the actual event that created, I would say, Abu Dhabi. You see, and other things in Dubai and Bahrain and Singapore. You need to bring some very positive event without saying come to Egypt.
I think something new.
Absolutely.
Like as we're talking now, I would say the special interest one would be more.
And then we'll say, there is a Formula One. When I say Formula One, is just an example, but there is whatever event is taking place there. If you like Celine Dion and you see Celine Dion coming here, if you like a marathon of whatever and you see the marathon, if one of the world championship of a sport, that anything that shows. If those famous people are there in Egypt, and not necessarily because many people only address the art, so you need to bring a singer, you need to bring an actor. Not only that,
I think the
international
film industry can be boosted as well here in Egypt, because Tom Hanks was in Egypt about 2 or 3 months ago in Sharm el-Sheikh to be filming his new film,
and
so that would be helping the industry.
It was not, unfortunately, it was not well
planned or organized.
It was not well planned.
Maybe we need to work to make things easier for them and more appealing.
This is
so that they can
filming
here
in
as opposed
Egypt
to filming in other countries around us.
We have lots of movies that are actually filmed supposedly to be in Egypt, and they're not in Egypt. They're not in Egypt. They're not in Egypt.
But that's a very sad part.
So what can be done to be changing that?
Well, there are some laws in terms when you address the filming industry, which is a huge. There are some exhibitions taking place in the world for the business of filming in the destinations. Our laws are still quite difficult for the producer to bring to facilitate the bringing of the equipment to Egypt and re-exporting it again. This is still to be addressed with the Ministry of Finance.
To make it a bit easier and appealing.
And the facility.
And to ease the paperwork.
It's paperwork. It's customs. That's extremely important. It's the use of the historical site. Now using of whatever site costs you hell of a big amount as well, while the other people are offering the desert for free, but just come. Because besides being a good promotion, but still it's a crew of sometimes 20, 30 people that would occupy some hotels in different places and different sites, most probably sites that are not frequently visited, like deserts and so on. So it will, and plus, of course, the big promotion. There are lots and
good publicity for the country.
Excuse me?
Good publicity for the country.
Extremely good publicity for the country, and moneymaker. And big money maker as well. But that's not an easy project, and when I say project, not an easy access for lots of producers into Egypt. And you've mentioned also Tom Hanks, and I would have to say that unfortunately the visit resulted to be negative at the end. And again, because he was not well received, it was not well coordinated. But also the organizer themselves has nothing to do with the government. Didn't coordinate this with the government. So you had an incredible good event that you could have actually treasure on it, and you didn't.
Yes, and hopefully we will be having more and more chances to be changing this image about Egypt in 2015. Mr. Karim Membawy, the member of the Tourism Chambers Federation, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Karim. Thank you.
And right now we'll be going out to be seeing a Christmas party celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. So let's see.